I'm coming at you live on tape from Sydney, Ohio. And today's movie is the epic story of a demonic motorboat powered, steered by a demon on a quest of revenge. It's Motorboat from 2023. And it is just as unusual as it sounds. This is a Polonia Brothers movie, so strap yourselves on. This movie may or may not make sense. It starts out with a kaiju podcaster talking about the Brotherhood of Darkness and its leader, Messiah Ward, and how they may have a kaiju in the lake. Then we go to this guy going to a fortune teller to find out where the Brotherhood of Darkness is. She warns him not to go there. And then we see a guy putting on gloves and a mask and carrying two guns, breaking into the Brotherhood of Darkness's lair, where their leader cuts his wrist with the dull end of a knife to get blood out so they can drink because their time for their end has come. Now, of course, anyone who's ever cut themselves with the dull end of a knife knows it's a real badass thing to cut yourself with a dull end of a knife. It cuts deeper and hurts way worse than cutting yourself with a sharp end of a knife. So this guy is a real badass. This guy with two guns breaks in there like he's breaking in there like Rambo going on an elite mission. He's jumping off the corners of the building, doing backflips, like Beast in X-Men 2, the Clone Wars. And then when he finally comes up to him, he just lets loose with his pistols, spraying the room down, killing everything in sight. He even shoots at himself once, just to make sure he can dodge the bullet Matrix style. Then he takes Messiah Ward's body and dumps it in the lake. Then we go to 2 years later, and there's these two idiots fishing. And one says, real still, and he's afraid. And their poles go flying, and this boat appears. And they wave their arms because the boat doesn't see them. And the boat kills them both. And we get the title screen, Motorboat. And if that isn't the most awesome beginning to a movie, I don't know what is. Maybe, it's way more cooler than Citizen Kane's beginning, where it says Rosebud. And then we're all left thinking, what the hell's Rosebud? And then we're all left disappointed when we know it's his freaking sled. Or his teddy bear, or his rattle, or whatever the fuck Rosebud was. I don't know, I didn't watch that whole damn movie. That movie was boring as hell. This movie's way more exciting. This movie's like 10 times Citizen Kane. So then we go to the chief ranger of the water. I don't remember what his technical title is. He's just chief park ranger or chief water ranger, whatever his name is. Barney Rail, who believes in old technology and is typing on a typewriter and has a touch-tone phone, and he's reported that boat is upside down, and he goes check it out, and he flips over the boat, and there's a skeleton, and he thinks he sees a black speedboat. But there are two bodies found. And then we go to the preacher. We see praying, but he's having nightmares about the Brotherhood of Darkness. What is his connection to all this? We don't know. Maybe he wasn't the Brotherhood of Darkness. Maybe he was a member. Maybe he was the killer. he was the killer. So then the motorboat strikes again. This chick, who's the black chick who's in just about all the Colonial Brother movies recently, goes to the beach. And the motorboat kills her. And so Barney, the chief again, goes and checks out her body. And it's a skeleton. We don't see it's a skeleton, but it's going to be a skeleton again. And the reverend and the preacher comes up and gives her last rites. And then tells Barney, we have to talk. And gives him his card. That night, the preacher's in bed having nightmares. And this demon comes and visits him. And says, stay out of my way. Now, to most people, a demon coming to visit you and telling you to stay out of your way would be a simple answer to stay out of their way. But to this preacher, it's that he has to go further. Now, if a demon came to visit me and told me to stay out of its way, I would ask the demon name and then ask him in for coffee, because I would wonder what the demon wants. Then again, I have a ghost here, and the ghost has injured me twice, and the ghost has never come in for coffee. Because I want to know what the ghost wants and why he keeps injuring me. I mean, he's invited for coffee. So the preacher and the chief meet. And the preacher tells the whole story of how he killed the Dark Brotherhood and Messiah Ward. And how now they have to go to this derelict building by the water and sanctify it. So Messiah Ward's demon, because that's who this demon is Messiah Ward, can't go in there anymore. But that's what they do. And after the preacher reads his anti-exorcism from the Bible, which I'm pretty sure is not in the Bible, because I have read the Bible and I don't remember any of those words in the Bible. And ghosts or demons, the Dark Brotherhood appears, and the chief tries shooting them with a gun, but eventually they have to use God's weapons in crosses and holy water. And then they put a big foam cross on the door, which keeps the Messiah Ward demon out. Now, I don't know where they keep getting these big foam crosses, because they use like 2 of them in this movie. But I would like a big foam cross. I don't know what I'd use it for. But we could like put it to people's heads and go, "Be God, Satan!" It's like a giant foam cross that I have to use with 2 hands. I go, "Be God, Satan!" Okay. So then they go back and they make a plan to stop this motorboat, which is now stuck on the water. Who then goes out and kills Mark Colonia and another guy. They're going to hunt it down and try to destroy the motorboat and try to bind Messiah Ward Demon with a cross, another giant foam cross, and try to bind it to him and then sink him to the bottom of the lake. Now, I think they're misunderstanding how strong demons are, because as far as I know, demons are super strong, and they're super fast, and they breathe acid, and they've got like a mouth that comes out of their mouth, and another mouth that comes out of that, and they've got queens, and they lay eggs in their belly, and then when the eggs when the eggs grow, they pop out of your chest. Or I might be thinking of the aliens from aliens in this. So they go. And first they chase the boat because the boat is challenging them. Then they go out to the middle of the lake. The chief, once again, tries to shoot the boat with a gun. He hasn't learned nothing yet. But then the preacher raises up the giant foam cross and says, God, strike you down, or something like that. And the boat blows up and sinks. And then Messiah Ward Demon appears on a boat. going after the preacher because the preacher killed him, remember? And then the preacher grabs the foam cross and says, "Lash me to him." And the chief lashes them together and pushes them over, and the preacher jumps into the lake with him. And Messiah Ward Demon's done. And then at the end, the Chief Barney Rail, puts the little wristband or necklace cross on the preacher's headstone, and we see the preacher dosed, and we see he went up to heaven. And that's Motorboat. It is a good movie, filled with some questionable acting, but it's got a decent story. It's got good music in it. It's got a song in it that just comes out of nowhere and just leaves out of nowhere. It does need a musical number, maybe with Messiah Ward leading and singing and dancing, with the chief and the preacher doing backup dancing. It's got Polonia Brothers deaths. I mean, they're interesting deaths, but you don't get to see anything. It's got an interesting premise, a demonic boat. I like this movie. I recommend it. It's on Tubi. Now for the song. The part everyone waits for, and yet no one listens to. This is a song about the demon boat. This is a song about Motorboat. And if the Polonia Brothers hear it, yes, you can use this song as the official theme song for Motorboat. I just want a writer's credit on the song. On a peaceful lake comes the results of a fatal mistake. These once calm waters are now met with slaughters because of a group's ambition. There now comes a new mission to raise terror and fright, then disappear into the night. The once lofty goals are now to make holes into swimmers and boatists. Everyone's gotta pay the toll. Motorboat, it's a demon boat from hell. Motorboat, led by cultists you should remember well. He promised his followers an afterlife. Now he's giving lakegoers one big fright. Motorboat, Messiah Ward was his name. Running the Brotherhood was his game. They were an evil cult, like to murder, rape, and insult. One day it happened, they were caught napping, they were gunned down. Motorboat, it's a demon boat from hell. Motorboat, run by cultists you should remember well. He promised his followers an afterlife. Now he's giving lakegoers one big fright. Messiah Ward's body was dumped in the lake. It was a big mistake. But now he's back from hell. He has a demon boat under his spell, and everyone's going to pay. Motorboat, it's a demon boat from hell. Motorboat, run by cultists you should know well. He promised his followers an afterlife. Now he's giving lakegoers one big fright. Motorboat. Join me next week when we look at the hit real life documentary about Donald Trump, President Evil.